Welcome to the last topic. In this topic, we're really going to take everything we've learned in the section on macroeconomics and put it all together to help us understand how economies grow, or how we conceptualize long-run growth. And we're going to spend even more time talking about short-run fluctuations in the economy, why we think they might happen, and how the government can approach managing short-term economic fluctuations. We're going to start out here talking about long-run economic growth. So if we were in an upper level course, we would define a production function for our economy and then think about how growth happened within that economy. But here we're going to just talk a little bit about what those production functions would look like without getting into the math. So here you can see I have a function, output is equal to some function of my inputs. Remember, we've been talking about inputs here as labor, capital, natural capital, and human capital. And then we also have this term A, which is very important because A represents how we transform our inputs into output, which means technology that we use in the production process, efficiency within the economy, and productivity. So every time we talk about deadweight loss, we're talking about inefficiencies or loss in our productive capacity in terms of our total output. What do we know about production? We know that our production function should look something like this. As we increase our inputs, like say labor, if we add more labor to the economy, output should increase. Output should increase. But we also notice that it's increasing at a decreasing rate, right? Like the more inputs I add, the less output increases. So what this tells me is that the growth rates output will increase as we accumulate inputs, right? As we grow our productive capacity, but the growth rate will tend to decrease as the country grows. Now, we could get a lot more technical with all of this. We're not going to do that, but this is all I want you to know. What leads to long-run growth? More inputs, or better technology, more efficiency, or better productivity of those inputs. And as a country grows, we would tend to see a decrease in the growth rate. So the US, for example, has a lower growth rate than China because the US has much higher GDP per capita than China, and so we see a lower growth rate.